In a world full of noise, two voices rise above the chaos. Ron and Brian. They speak truth. They stir thought. They accidentally help. News, nonsense, and necessary self-care. Join the cult of Ron and Brian. Because the work is so important.
All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday night. It is the first night of Hanukkah for those of you out there that celebrate. And it is also time for episode 383 of the Cult of Ron and Brian. As always, I'm joined by my compadre, Brian. Brian, how goes it tonight?
We go. It is Sunday. It is the end of another spectacular December weekend. The Northeast, at least I can speak for the Ivory Tower here in West New York. We got our first snow of the year. I know people had said there had been some, there had been a snow event over the last couple of weeks. I never saw it. I can't claim it. Woke up this morning and the ground was white, just the way you like it, Ron.
Now, I wanted to see how you were doing today. I know it's been a very emotional 24 hours for you. You were very upset at the end of John Cena's last match last night. You were pretty much heartbroken that he was retiring. You even and when I knew how much it had impacted you was when you said to me, Ron, I don't even feel like using my custom-made John Cena flashlight. Have you pulled it together and are you ready to do an episode here tonight?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to toughen out, but I'm pretending. This is an act.
Sure.
The man who said that he would never quit. In his last final match, you could see it. He had given it his all. Unfortunately, a man who is so many years past his prime, going up against the Army General Gunther, whatever the fuck he's called, something.
Close.
This is all based on social media videos I saw today. You could see the Air Marshal, the Marshal General. I don't know what his nickname is. But just seeing that he cannot compete at that high level of performance that the WWE commands for main events. He tapped out. He quit. It wasn't even a finishing move. Just gave up on everyone. And in true wrestling fan tradition, everybody just stood up and in the arena where I believe it was San Diego, everybody just started, they gave him a standing ovation. They were clapping mediocrity. They were celebrating abandonment of responsibility. This is not the John Cena that I never watched when he was wrestling before. So I'm outraged, Ron.
Well, Brian, at least we can adhere to our principles of honor, loyalty, and respect. And by doing that, let's get the show started with a little drink of the week.
Drink of the week.
Na zdrowie.
Salud.
Drink of the week.
Proszę.
Who's?
Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
Brian,
drink of the week.
What are you drinking tonight?
What am I drinking tonight, Ron? It's getting to that time of year where I like nothing more than a cup of coffee in the evening.
Ooh.
Except, so I got the little coffee here. You can see it's in there.
Sure.
But what did I put in there? Ooh, a little addition. Look closely. Here, let me put this down so you can see.
A little too close.
Better. Okay, here we go. What I am holding here is a Five Farms single batch Irish cream liqueur. That's right. The inviting nose of butterscotch, caramel fondue, and vanilla bean jumps from the bottle. Oh, hold on. I'm going to take this. Oh, dear Lord. The lush palate coats the mouth with flavors of coffee, with fresh cream, dulce de leche, a little coconut, which I can get past if I figure out how to close this thing.
Sure.
Maybe Belgian waffles. This is an intensely satisfying after dinner sipper in place of dessert. Instead of tonight, it's going inside my coffee. Why? Because I want to be raring for After Dark using the OG podcast coffee mug. These things are still available in our store. Here is my drink of the week, Ron.
Listen, if anybody knows about coating people's mouths, it's you, Brian. Talk to me. How are you liking it? Going in for a second sip already.
Yeah, this is good. This
All right.
is very good. This isn't that over-the-top Bailey's commercial nonsense. This is single batch Irish
This is
liqueur.
small
You're not going
batch.
to find
It is
this.
small business. You are supporting local communities, correct?
This is imported from Ireland. So this isn't some of that crap that's made in Lancaster, PA that you like to drink. Ron,
Yes.
switching gears here. What are you drinking?
So ironically, Brian, I also brought a cream liqueur to the table. Folks, we did not talk about this prior, but we were, the wife and I were at the liquor store yesterday and saw this new thing from Stella Rosa. This is a pistachio cream liqueur from the Netherlands. So none of that junk out in like Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, Williamsport, none of that hipster bougie stuff. This is coming straight from the Netherlands. So what I did last night, we were hanging out with the moderator's sister, some other friends, baking some holiday cookies. So I did a little twist on a White Russian. We're calling this the Creamy Grinch, Brian. This is a couple shots of vodka, a shot of the pistachio cream liqueur, and some heavy cream mixed up. Even splashed, tough to see there, splashed a little, some candy cane shavings on top of it also. Let's have a sip here, see how this goes down.
Ron, may those candy cane shavings tear the inside of your esophagus as it goes down. Walk me
tasty,
through. What do
right?
we do? What's the taste? Walk me through.
Listen,
this.
I don't know about you. I've been a fan of pistachio since the old days. Pistachio pudding, pistachio nuts, these nuts on your chin, all that. It really gives you the creamy flavor. You get a little bit of the vodka. You get the pistachio flavor, and then a little bit of the mintiness from the candy cane shavings.
Ooh, he's taking another sip. This is looking like it's going to be a good second half of this podcast as
Delicious.
The alcohol in that starts to because normally, Ron, you come in with some weak ass beers that keep you sober for the full hour.
True.
So this week I feel do you have a second drink already lined up by any chance?
I mean, I may mix up another one of these for after dark. We'll see how the evening goes. But in the meantime, Brian, I think we keep it moving on to our beef of the week.
Ron and Brian's beef of the week.
Brian, what's bothering you this week?
What's bothering me this week?
Yes,
unfortunately, my beef of this week is whatever delivery service Walmart used in delivering 2 nightstands, not end tables. I was corrected earlier this evening not to refer to them as end tables. These are nightstands. My lady, probably I would say about 2 weeks ago, decided that we needed to upgrade the nightstands in the second bedroom for when guests come over, because we've got end tables there which don't have drawers. And of course, when people come over for a night overstay, they need 3 drawers, Ron.
I mean, I you've been so kind with your hospitality in the Ivory Tower up to this point. I really haven't wanted to nitpick. But yeah, that was, that lost you a star in our post-stay review is the end table, not a nightstand.
And I will take that hit. So she ordered some probably about a week and a half ago. They were supposed to be sent out rather quickly. Unfortunately, the tracking system that they used still has them sitting somewhere in California for the past 8 days. Then earlier today, my lady gets a notification on the phone that these packages have been delivered. Now, as you know, because you've been here many times, my packages are delivered to the concierge area where there's a live person who signs it in.
Your valet signs for them and sets them aside.
The photo that was it that was appeared on the FedEx site showing that these packages have been delivered was clearly the garage. Was not dropped off with a human being. Was somehow, I don't know how FedEx or whatever service FedEx handed it off to, some third party, whatever. The boxes were somewhere in the garage. So what does the lady do? Sends me the photo and says, "Hey, can you go find these boxes?"
Hunt these
So
down.
earlier this afternoon, and were they exactly where one would think, which was like the entrance to the garage?
Would make sense.
No. Ron, I couldn't pick up one of these boxes. So there's two of them. I don't know
Right.
what the fuck she ordered. So I had to walk to concierge, borrow a hand truck, bring it back to where the boxes were dropped off, which was in the back of the garage.
How did they get to the back? Because that garage, you need a clicker to get into the garage. So
somebody must have let them in, and
Wow.
they must have like driven around trying to figure out how to get into the building to deliver them, gave up, and just put them down.
All right.
So I put them on the hand truck, and then just to tell you exactly how much I love my lady, she says to me, "So are the boxes damaged in any way?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course they are. There's like these things were missing for 8 days. There's like a big nick like taken right out of like one side of the box. I think some of the pieces inside might be damaged, but I'm like, I ain't touching it. This is your baby. You went out and decided to do this." Yeah, exactly. Brian did all of this without severely injuring himself. I'll tell you something. I felt something in my lower back when I picked one of these boxes up, because I'm literally like, because of course I lift with my back. I don't lift
Sure.
with my knees like you
You're a real
Gen
man.
Z millennials, weak
Yeah.
people do. Where you lift with your knees. No, I lift with my back. Oh, I felt something go. So now I got these two gigantic boxes that are in my living room right now, and they're not moving. They're not going anywhere. So we've got this silent battle of who's going to do this. So maybe it's partly my lady for ordering 80-pound nightstands for a room that's barely used, or it's FedEx for farming out the delivery to a shitty service, and made me deliver my own package.
Did you get white glove service? Because that's usually the move, so they bring them right up.
Walmart doesn't offer that level of service. Why she's ordering these from Walmart? But it is Better Home and Gardens brand, so I'm assuming it's decent quality. But Jesus, these things are heavy. And when I complained to her, she literally was just like, "These aren't nightstands, these are end table," or whatever. It was the other way around. She was like, "These
Right.
aren't just end tables, these are nightstands." I'm like, okay, right.
So she became Hugh
like
Grant
Ron
for a
needs to-
moment.
Well, if she was Hugh Grant, she'd be picking up African American prostitutes on Sunset Boulevard. But let's not delve into Hugh Grant's past. Ron, what's bothering you this week?
Well, one more quick question with the new nightstands. Are there outlets built into them? Because that would have been another pet peeve of mine, is I have to plug my charger in all the way at the end of the bed.
Her goal is to have one of those 3-in-1 devices at the edge of every on both nightstands. So this way, if you want to charge your AirPods, your Apple Watch, your cell phone, you can just charge it up automatically. The plugs
Sure.
will already be there.
Okay, makes sense.
Ron, what's bothering you this week as we move on?
I gotta say, the snow overnight, kind of a bother, just because people still don't understand in Pennsylvania how to drive after it has snowed out, and it's like we had to go out. And again, this is on me, my bad. I thought we had some ice melt in the garage left over from last winter. We shoveled, we cleaned up, went to the garage, wasn't there, so I was like, let me go to the local hardware store to pick some
Reasonable.
up. And our street not plowed yet. Figured as much. Got onto the main streets. Main streets were plowed, but people are literally still driving down the middle of the road for whatever reason I'm not quite sure of.
Right.
And just there it was. I don't know. I hate driving around the holidays anyway. We've said that before, and people were just even dumber than usual on the roads today.
Sure.
If you can't drive in the weather, just stay home. which is what I did after I got back. Stayed home.
Are you
Watched
somehow
football.
bragging that you live on a tertiary street that while the town of Philadelphia immediately started plowing the streets, but we know they start with primary to secondary to tertiary, that by the
Right.
time you got out, you are so far removed from the dregs of civilization in your area that they still hadn't gotten to your roads yet?
I mean, first off, kudos to you for the proper use of the word tertiary. I
You're
have to
welcome.
give credit to that. No, I'm very at this point, having lived in this house for 10 years now, very used to getting plowed last. Unlike college, when I would get plowed first, now I get plowed last, and it's a problem. Billy asking the real questions: how can people drive in the middle of the road in Philly with all the cars parked in the middle of the road?
Good
William,
question.
as we have often discussed, and Brian often points out, I am Philly adjacent, not in actual Philadelphia.
Correct.
Speaking of which, it was crazy how quickly they got the snow out of Lincoln Financial Field for that Eagles game at 1 o'clock.
Listen, it's the Eagles. If it was anything else in that, I mean, I can tell you, Kensington is probably still snowed in. But when it comes to the Eagles games, Philly doesn't fuck around.
There's still unhoused people buried under snow and ice, but they cleared
Sure.
off the field to make sure, because it's a primetime game, national broadcast.
You need to know exactly where the 30-yard line is.
Without a doubt. Well, let's get into our stories of the week, Brian. As you all
Sure.
know, these are the stories that we want to make sure we get to. We each grab one, we share it with you, our fans, the people we love. Brian, what is your story of the week this week?
I believe, listen, government has gotten a bad reputation. Government has sat there and said, listen, it is time. There's so much government waste, focus on areas, where the government is stepping into your bedrooms, into bathrooms, into dressing rooms, telling people behavior and whatnot. However, here's an example this past week where I feel government, big government, let alone the Trump administration, is taking steps in the right direction, Ron, and it's taking us back to a time when America was great. And what was the decision that Marco Rubio in the State Department, I believe it was, Secretary of State, made a announcement this past week that I believe is the right step in making America great again. And that was directing all diplomats to revert to using the Times New Roman font in all official communications, and criticize his predecessor for shifting to Calibri, maybe,
Calibri,
a
I
font
believe.
that has now been deemed too woke. Yes, 2 years ago, Anthony Blinken in the Biden administration switched to Calibri, a softer, simpler shaped, and wider font than Times New Roman, in part to assist individuals with certain visual disabilities, such as low vision and dyslexia. Switching to Calibri achieved nothing, said Rubio, except the degradation of the department's official correspondence. Now everything is going back to Times New Roman, a font we all can be proud of as Americans.
Listen, I think this is a huge win, and we have often been critical of the Trump administration.
Sure.
But look at the things facing the struggles facing us. We're not worried about affordability. We're not worried about
Correct.
interest rates, school
That's
shootings.
a Democratic word.
Fonts are really, we're not worried about the Epstein files.
Old
Fonts
news.
on official documentation is what really matters.
Ron, I'm kind of fond of you.
I would say, though, I would think Comic Sans much more appropriate for this administration. But we'll go.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Ron, what's your story of the week?
So my story of the week this week, we go out to Ohio, Brian. Not a state we visit that often, by choice, I would say. This is a gentleman by the name of Jason Smith. He was arrested after authorities said he mistakenly sent a baggie of crystal meth through a tube at a bank drive-through a couple of weeks back. He apparently had a couple of bags, one containing the actual deposit he wanted to make, and the other, I guess the baggie got stuck to the deposit. It went to the air tube. He drove away from the bank, not realizing that he had left his crystal meth behind. And officials soon tracked him down and arrested him. He was booked, but his charges haven't been announced yet. I mean, I would imagine possession with intent to distribute, probably.
Sure. What bank employee would snitch rather than just pocket the crystal meth? This is what I don't understand.
It doesn't identify the bank teller, just saying that it's a, quote, by the book employee at the bank, flagged the bizarre deposit. So it definitely was a snitch. Maybe someone not into crystal meth. We're not all into crystal meth like you are, Brian.
You know, there were at least 3 employees in that bank that were like, "You did what? You could. I would have given you $20 for it. Oh, I can't believe it." It is Ohio. So that's my story. I mean, they do love crystal meth in Ohio.
So I think we have
somehow we're supposed to be like a great nation. Somehow we're supposed to be a great nation. And then you look at somebody like that and you're like, we are not great. We have not been great in a very long time.
Well, we're turning around, Brian. Times New Roman is back. So I feel it is just we're days away from being great again.
Days. You're being overly generous. What else do we got, Ron?
I'm just optimistic. So the story this week that just kept getting crazier and crazier, involving former University of Michigan head football coach Sherrone Moore. It came out. When did the story start? Did it start on Monday? I feel like Monday. It's been a long week. Monday or Tuesday?
Sounds like that. I think it was more Tuesday.
It might have been Tuesday. So the first announcement comes out that Sherrone Moore, Wednesday it happened. Sherrone Moore gets fired as head coach of Michigan after the university said it had found credible evidence that the football coach had been involved in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. So that drops, and then everybody starts, looking at his personal assistant, assuming she's the one that he had this relationship with. I think one of the main things that jumped out for people is, like, I think in her first 2 years at the university, she was making like $58,000 a year, and then she goes to be his administrative assistant, and her pay jumps to like $95,000 a year.
Of course.
Apparently,
I thought you were going to go after the obvious angle, which was that she was a white blonde young woman. And he is definitely an African-American male. I thought that you were going to go with that angle.
I was not going to go with that angle, but you did point that out. But then it also comes out that he has been arrested, fired, and then arrested. But no one at that time knew what he had been arrested for.
Correct.
No one knew what the charge is for. So then the full story comes out is she snitched on him, apparently.
Correct.
Well, I guess let's take a step back.
Take it back.
Because this keeps getting crazier and crazier. Apparently, what first brought this to the attention of the Michigan Athletic Department was Sherrone Moore DoorDashed Plan B to his mistress's house because I guess there was a bit of a pregnancy scare.
I believe he DoorDashed it to his office.
To his office? Is that the story?
Yeah. I believe just to the house was not the standout. I think it was the DoorDash guy making a delivery of Plan B into Michigan at the athletic department's building that caused him to sit there and go, "Oh, wait a second, this is not just a regular delivery." I believe he had it delivered to the office.
You may be right. Now, first off, kudos to Michigan that you can DoorDash Plan B. Extremely progressive.
Very much so. We love that.
But yeah, so then apparently the DoorDash guy informed someone in the Michigan Athletic Department, "Hey, this might be kind of weird. I DoorDash Plan B to your coach."
Sure.
So they start kind of looking into it. In the meantime, apparently he had broken up with this mistress, or she had broken up with him, I think was. And so he has been stalking her for a few months now.
And he's married with kids. He's
Married with 3
married
kids.
with kids.
Married
He's
with
got a
3
wife
kids.
and kids at home that he's going home to every day,
Yes.
theoretically. Yet he's got a mistress.
So I guess she gets tired of him stalking her, goes to the Michigan athletic director and brings all the evidence she needs, text messages, emails, letters, timelines, the whole 9 yards. So what's interesting is I don't think anything would have happened if his assistant had not gone to the AD, because Michigan
Correct.
clearly doesn't care about what the football team does. They've kind of
No.
proven that in the past. They can break
Sure.
whatever rules, laws they want.
Cheating. They had a cheating scandal a couple of years ago.
So they are left with no choice but to fire Sherrone Moore. Apparently they felt that way. So then Sherrone goes home, obviously has to tell his wife why he gets fired. He then apparently threatened physical violence to his wife. Then he drives over to his former mistress's house, grabs a knife, and threatens to kill her and unalive himself. And apparently that will get you arrested in the state of Michigan. Or most states, let's say.
Well, I think, yes. Well, I think it was the fact that there was somebody in, we're not sure whether it was his assistant that called the cops or a neighbor called the cops. But after he broke in, apparently he grabbed some knives and scissors, held it to his throat, telling the young lady that that he was going to kill himself and that his blood was going to be on her hands. Which I can speak from experience is not a fun thing to be told.
No,
it's not a fun thing to be told.
But it's still, and again, we should not continue to be surprised by bad behavior by people in positions of power.
Sure.
But the man gave up what I think you would have to agree, probably one of the top 5 coaching gigs in NCAA.
Sure.
Probably a coaching gig that a lot of NFL coaches would probably leave some of these lower tier teams to go do.
Sure.
He's making, he gave up what? He gave up like $13 million for the remainder of his contract.
Oh, I think 13.
I believe that was what he was guaranteed payment.
I think it was 13 a year for a couple years. And they fired him for cause.
Oh yeah,
he's
not getting that money.
And by firing for cause, it nullifies his entire contract. He's owed nothing. His wife knew about it. He knew it was going to become a public story that he was going to be embarrassed, and he was about to go kill himself. And I think they let him go. Didn't he just go get out on bail or whatnot?
Did he bond out? Let's take a look here.
I believe he did. What I find somewhat interesting is how social media was really driving this story. How details of this story were being spread on social media. Most turned out to be correct. This was not a bunch of people throwing out inflammatory statements just for the sake of it, but it was, details are leaking. This is what we're hearing. A couple things. One is I got a kick out of a lot of the people over on Barstool, the Dave Portnoys, who are all big University of Michigan fans.
Oh yeah,
who, with a straight face, sat there and said, "Hey, this is you're talking about real lives here. You're talking about a man. There's a spouse. There are children, all whose lives have been completely destroyed this week. This should be touched." In a professional, serious manner. This is not something to joke about. Meanwhile, if this was another school, they'd be all over it.
They'd be smearing it all over the place. Yeah,
smearing it all. But there's also another aspect to the story, which is the racial aspect that we really can't pretend doesn't exist. Here you have an African American coach in a role, a profession that still to this day, despite the predominance of African American males being players, the head coaches, it is still a white male club. It's very difficult if you are an African American to be given the opportunity to be a head coach of a team. He's got a white wife. and he's got the mistress was white. The number of videos I watched this past week of African American social media personalities sitting there saying, putting aside, everything, in the charges and everything that they're claiming his behavior, and it's, I knew that he had an uphill battle holding on to a job in this white dominated world, that it's so difficult for a black man to be a head coach. I'm like, he was there. Like, you can't put aside what his actions were. Any other coach does this, they're also out of a job. Like this, there may be a racial aspect of it that people will seize upon, but the fact that he's in jail or was in jail, nothing race related. He absolutely deserves it.
To be fair, he was fired before any of this other stuff happened. Like,
correct.
It wasn't like he was fired because he threatened her and ended up getting arrested.
Sure.
I guess my question is, had he been a more successful coach, if his team was in the running for the college football playoffs, do you think he gets fired?
The question is this, and these are things we'll never know. How many other stories have the University of Michigan athletic department had about him where they said, this is the last straw? We're not going to, you've lost enough. We're not covering this one up anymore.
Good point.
The very fact, I've read that this was an open secret amongst people in the athletic department, that he was having an affair and that it was somebody within the department. They looked past that. So obviously this was the last straw.
Well, we will continue to follow the story, replacing Sherrone Moore for I think they have a bowl game coming up.
Sure.
And is assistant coach Biff Poggi, who is now the interim head coach.
What?
My favorite quote I've seen online about this gentleman is, Michigan made sure they won't have another scandal by moving the most unfuckable person on the staff into the interim head coaching position. And apparently this guy is also a hedge fund multimillionaire. So I guess he's probably.
Does he know anything about football?
Well, he's been on the staff for a while, and it seems like he just, he's one of these guys that has made so much money in life that he just, coaches. He was like an assistant coach or offensive line coach or something along those lines.
Got it. Hey, Billy makes a good point here. A college football coach scandal being covered up. Who would believe it? Ron, you're familiar up in Pennsylvania with college football coach scandals. Famously, Joe Paterno from Penn State famously looked the other way while one of his assistant coaches was molesting and raping little boys in the showers of Penn State. Shocking, just shocking behavior. You drink that class right now, my friend, because we all just kind of glossed over it.
Brian, what I'd like to do though, and we'd have to admit, like, Sherrone really screwed up in this instant.
Sure.
So what I would like to do is I put together a little bracket of professional men that have screwed up involving women over the years.
Okay.
I'd like you to we're gonna do this NCAA bracket style, if you would entertain this for me.
Yes.
All right. So I made Sherrone. We're only doing 16 because I don't want this to last forever. So they're ranked 1 through 16. I gave Sherrone a number 1 seed because he's so hot right now. He's his fingers on the pulse of everything at the moment. Going up against number 16 seed Gary Hart. Going back a ways here, he was the front runner for the 1988 Democratic presidential nomination. After daring reporters to follow him, he was photographed with Donna Rice aboard a yacht named Monkey Business. The resulting scandal ended his campaign and reshaped how the media covers politicians' personal lives. Brian, we rarely see a 16 versus 1 upset, but I'm going to ask you which of these two men deserve to move forward in this competition.
Right off the bat, I want to say Gary Hart. This man was one of the leading Democratic candidates for presidency. This man almost became president and lost it all because he was seen getting chummy with a woman that was not his wife. I mean, what he lost there was huge. But I can't give it to him. I
Okay.
cannot. Gary Hart cannot move to the second round.
So you're moving Sherrone on to the next.
Yeah, yeah. There's more scandal here. There's
All right.
arrests, threats of violence, suicide. Yeah, this story's juicier, but less at stake.
Understood. Understood. All right. Next up, Brian, we have the number 2 seed, Tiger Woods. Obviously, we're familiar. Had a amazing career going. Then
Best
gets a
golfer
little
ever.
bit of a car accident on some medication,
Sure.
and he gives up a lot. He gives up his marriage. He gives up a lot of sponsorships.
It's
Really was never the same player ever again.
never.
He
Correct.
is going up against Louis C.K., who was at the peak of his career when he admitted to sexual misconduct allegations. The fallout led to canceled projects, lost deals, and a sharp reevaluation of his public standing. I hear some people will still go see Louis C.K. in concert, though I have a hard time believing that myself. But Brian, who do you think of those two move forward? Is it Tiger Woods or Louis C.K.?
I will say this: what Louis C.K. did was grosser. He violated. It was there was less consent in what Louis C.K. did. When I say less, meaning no consent in what Louis C.K. was doing.
All right.
Whereas Tiger Woods, he was just basically banging waitresses wherever he was on the road. He would go to some kind of IHOP or Denny's or whatever, and he was just banging waitresses left and right. Obviously, ruined his marriage, broke his his wife's trust in him. But the thing here is Tiger Woods' reputation was of being one of the cleanest cut athletes in the world. He had done such a great job protecting his reputation. Everybody thought that this was the guy who was just perfect. Louis C.K., everybody knew he was kind of gross to begin with. I'm going Tiger Woods here.
Going Tiger Woods. All right. Thought we almost were going to have an upset there, but
Close.
but not quite. Next up, we have a three seed, Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs. Don't really need to rehash everything we went over last week after we talked about the P. Diddy docuseries. Going up against Brett Favre. He was obviously one of the most celebrated quarterbacks in the NFL when it was leaked that he had sent some inappropriate text messages and photos of his genitalia to some of the trainers on the Jet staff. And then, of course, later on down the line, got involved in this whole welfare fund scandal in Mississippi. But we're more focusing on his time in the NFL.
See, I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to say Diddy. I think the fall from grace on Diddy's part is so huge. This is a guy that was, supposedly the cleanest cut. He made rap music safe for white suburban mothers who were all just like, I love that Police song that he does with Sting. He's so good. It's such a good song. I listened to it about my children that went away to school. I miss them too. And now we realize he is a woman beater, a cuck. Not that there's anything wrong with being a cuck.
Yeah, not at all.
But I'm going to go Diddy. I'm going Diddy here.
We're moving Diddy forward then. Next up, Brian, we've got our number 4 seed, Matt Lauer, longtime host of the Today Show, one of the most recognizable figures in broadcast journalism, fired from NBC after multiple allegations of sexual misconduct in his workplace. Remember, he had that little button on his desk that would lock the door of his office. He is going up against Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, who had signed one of the largest guaranteed contracts in NFL history, and also faces numerous civil lawsuits alleging sexual misconduct. Hasn't played in quite a while due to injuries, but we're more looking into his massage parlor antics, if you will.
I'm going to Deshaun Watson here. I'm going to Deshaun Watson, and not to give Matt Lauer a pass. I think the allegations against him was that he would he forced himself on women that worked at NBC. But I'm going to say Deshaun Watson, simply based on the number of allegations against him
Okay.
for ordering masseuses and then exposing himself and trying to get happy endings from legitimate masseuses. And that was his mistake. That was his mistake there, really.
Yep.
And he had just signed that massive contract. He had so much to lose. You look at a guy like Robert Kraft. He wanted the same type of Deshaun Watson treatment, but he had the wherewithal to go to the strip mall massage parlors where to get dropped off by his Rolls Royce or whatever kind of car, and he would just go in, a little rub and tug, and he would leave. Deshaun Watson would hire top shelf masseuses and then expect them to give him a handy. And his career is ruined. Matt Lauer was already on the decline. And also, once he shaved his head and had that little stubble, nobody could take him seriously anymore. Him and Katie Couric were a great pair. Once she was gone, I don't think anybody really
Wasn't the
cared for
same.
the Lauer. No.
All right, next up, we've got our number 5 seed, Elliot Spitzer, who had built his
Ooh.
reputation prosecuting corruption and sex crimes while attorney general. Then, when he became governor of New York, he was exposed as client number nine of a prostitution ring, forcing his resignation within days. This is an all-political matchup, Brian. Our number 12 seed, Anthony Weiner, a rising political figure whose career ended after repeated sexting scandals. Who was the woman he was tied in with?
Oh,
Sydney Leathers, my friend.
Sydney Leathers.
Despite resigning
Ooh, that's
once, he
good.
continued the behavior, leading to further public exposure, legal consequences, and prison time. Brian, who moves forward? 512 is where you typically see a lot of upsets. We've got Elliot Spitzer and Anthony Weiner. Who do you like to move forward?
I think we have to go with the sitting governor. Spitzer was looking at national potential vice president, something in the top tier presidential administration had he stuck around. And he got pulled down because he liked to keep his socks on while having sex with prostitutes. Yeah, I think we got to take Spitzer down.
All right, he moves on then. Next up, we've got our number 6 seed, Jared Fogle. Became the face of Subway through a highly visible weight loss campaign, later pleaded guilty to federal charges involving minors, permanently ending his career and putting him behind bars, versus our number 11 seed, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who at the height of his political career admitted to having an affair with a household employee that resulted in a child. It ended his marriage and derailed any further political aspirations he had. Brian, Jared Fogle versus Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean, the stakes are different here. I think Schwarzenegger lost a lot more. Jared was basically the guy who ate 6-inch sandwiches, and then was trying to eat 6-inch sandwiches. I think you got to go Jared Fogle here.
All
He
right.
was, he was a motivational speaker trying to help America get healthy. And turned out, I mean, and the audio tape, that was the other thing. Remember I forgot during the pandemic which channel it was. I want to say it was like A&E or whatever, but somebody did like a 3-part documentary where they actually had the audio tapes of Jared Fogle talking to a woman who obviously, had kids, and he was and he was talking her into letting him hook up with the kids. It was some of the creepiest audio I've ever heard in my life. I as much as Schwarzenegger lost, I think he is such a great reputation as his as the movie star and action figure that I don't think people were all that shocked that he would have a couple love children running around. I think Jared Fogle takes a major hit here.
All right, next up, we've got our number 7 seed, Mark Sanford. If that name is not familiar, he was the governor of South Carolina when he disappeared from public view, later admitting he had traveled to Argentina to visit his mistress. The revelation ended his political credibility and became a case study in avoidable scandal. He is going up against our number 10 seed, David Petraeus, who was a highly decorated general and CIA director. When an extramarital affair with his biographer was revealed, the scandal led to his resignation and criminal charges related to mishandling classified information. Brian, is Mark Sanford or David Petraeus going to move forward?
I'm going to say Petraeus. This is, when you think about it, Sanford, what state was he governor of? It was a small
South Carolina.
shit. Yeah, nobody gives a shit about that state. Unimportant. David Petraeus had basically, he had basically salvaged our war in Iraq, if I remember correctly. He was part of the surge of troops that really kind of knocked out the ISIS in Iraq or Al Qaeda in Iraq. I don't remember which one it was, but he was being, I don't want to say that he was like the Norm Schwarzhofer. What was that guy from Schwarzhofer? That was damn close.
You were very close. Closer than I would have imagined.
Yeah, but I think Petraeus, while what he did was not as embarrassing, but his fall from grace was quite severe, and I think he takes the win over here.
All right, next up, we've got our number 8 seed, Jerry Springer, because before becoming a television icon, he served as mayor of Cincinnati. That is until it was revealed that he paid for a prostitute with a personal check, one that later became public record, and he was forced to resign. He goes up against our number 9 seed, R. Kelly. We have talked about R. Kelly often. Thanks to the Surviving R. Kelly documentary. He was Diddy before there was Diddy, I guess you could say. Brian, who do you move forward in this matchup, Jerry Springer or R. Kelly?
I think you got to go R. Kelly here. R. Kelly was famously had a thing for underage girls. Married a 15-year-old girl, Aaliyah, before allegedly arranging for her death on an airplane. It was a well-known video that was being passed around the internet. I have the video somewhere on a hard drive. I don't think it made the trip over to Rego Park.
Not good to admit that, I think.
I remember downloading it. I'm sure I've lost it over time. But there was a video of him basically having sex and peeing on a young lady. We just didn't realize how young she was until after I downloaded it. However, the interview with, I forgot who, when they said, "Do you like young girls?" And he was just like, well, how young are we talking here? Like, just not knowing how to give the right answer.
Right.
Absolutely, R. Kelly
right.
takes the win here.
Well, let's move on to our next round, Brian. We're down to our Elite 8.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. How on earth does Harvey Weinstein not get involved in this?
That was, I tried to stay away from like the Weinsteins, the Epsteins, kind of the very obvious ones.
The Jews is what you're saying. You avoided putting Jews on this list because you thought that it would just become an anti-Semitic contest.
Anyway, next up, Brian, we need a winner between Sherrone Moore and Elliot Spitzer.
I think you go Spitzer.
All right.
A sitting governor taken down by having sex with prostitutes while married with kids. Yes, Spitzer.
All right. Next, this one I think I already know, but it's Tiger Woods and David Petraeus.
Tiger Woods.
That one's not much of a matchup.
No, not at all.
Next up, we have Sean Combs and Jared Fogle. It's an interesting one.
Ooh. These are both epic fall from graces. And I'm going to go Jared Fogle simply because here, Billy makes a great point. Spitzer and Fogle are Jewish. So we could have had 4 out of the top 16 and also thrown in Dershowitz there for good measure. Who are the two teams? Who are the names here? Fogle and
Jared Fogle
Diddy.
And Sean Combs. Yes.
You got to go Fogle here. He had there was no dings on his reputation. Diddy for years. There was, when he oversold the tickets to that basketball event at CUNY. Sure. There was the time when he was with Jennifer Lopez in the SUV. They were shooting someone. There were several altercations. It was anybody who genuinely followed his career knew that this guy did not have a sterling reputation, whereas Fogel was America's beloved. We were so happy that he was a symbol of health in America and was going to teach us how to eat healthy. Yeah, I think Fogel takes this one.
All right, last one in this round: R. Kelly and Deshaun Watson.
R. Kelly.
All right,
R. Kelly here.
Yeah, I had a feeling that one would be a quick one. All right, so now we've got our 9 seed R. Kelly going up against 5 seed Elliot Spitzer.
I think you go R. Kelly. I think
Really? Okay.
I think the being the number one R&B singer in the world, playing arenas across the world and being taken down because you just couldn't wait till girls became 18. I think that is the larger fall from grace.
All right, our last Final Four matchup, we have our number 6 seed Jared Fogle against our number 2 seed Tiger Woods.
You got to go Tiger Woods here. I think that, if you are looking at where Tiger Woods was, how he was looked up to and revered in America, his epic fall, the tarnishment of his ego. I think we go Tiger Woods here.
All right. Well, that leaves us to our final matchup. It is Tiger Woods against R. Kelly. So now you're looking, in my mind. I mean, you can
let's talk this through. Talk this through, because we like to build anticipation.
You're looking at someone who you're looking at R. Kelly, who not only lost everything, but is doing a significant amount of prison time. Then you look at Tiger Woods, who lost his family, lost his marriage, but also when you think about it, he was on a path to become the greatest golfer of all time.
Sure.
And all of this derailed that as well. So he still thought of as a great golfer, but I don't think he ever had the chance to really go past the greats of the game, because he just was never the same player after this.
Listen,
but again, this is your pick, Brian. This is your pick. You let me know.
To me, this man, the man I'm about to name, should, in my opinion, have been a number 1 seed. This is Tiger Woods' tournament. I mean, there are a lot of men who have behaved poorly. There's a lot of men who have, just basically thought that, because of who they were and what they've accomplished, that they could get away with any type of behavior and that society would not hold them to any standards of expectations. Tiger Woods here wins this tournament.
There you go. And Billy's asking if the winners were based on who is more famous or which crimes are worse. It was a subjective. I don't think it was who was more famous. I think it was who really, who gave up the most, or what was kind of the dumbest decisions that were being made by these individuals.
But you also had to take into consideration what they had done.
True.
I was weighing, like how far was their fall from grace, especially in relation to what they had done. You look at a Tiger Woods, who basically, from what it seemed like, had never been faithful to his wife over, a decade of marriage. Women were coming forward, basically having said for years that they had been having sex with him when he would come to their town. And he was considered one of the clean-cut sports figures. He had broken the race barrier in golf. There's so much money in golf.
And not just golf, but I mean, the amount of, he was making Michael Jordan level money in sponsorships and commercials and things like that as well.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. I think you go, to me, this is a Tiger Woods to be lost. This is Tiger Woods all across.
All right, so Tiger Woods wins the bracket. No prizes, just a pat on the back, I guess, for being that ignorant.
Sure.
Speaking of wins, losses, we got to take a look at our NFL locks of the week.
Locks.
Oh, Brian, it was another week to say the least. I mean, you were looking at Houston -7 against Arizona. You said Arizona is a train wreck of the team. Give me Houston. Houston wins by 20, 40 to
Yep.
20. Then you looked at Indianapolis +3.5 against Seattle with Phillip Rivers coming back from retirement. You said, you know what? I believe the old man will keep it close. Sure enough, Seattle only wins 18-16, keeping you perfect yet again. What is that, 30-0 after this weekend?
This week would be 30-0 this year. Yeah, I mean, I would love to pat myself on the back. To me, those two games were absolutely obvious ones to go after. Ron, you did not struggle whatsoever this week. You took the Bears -7 over the Browns. Bears win 31-3 in a laugher. Also, Commanders -2.5 over the Giants. This wasn't even close. Commanders 29-21, bringing you to 30-0. Ron, we've got 3 weeks left in this season. How are you going to close it out?
You know what? I can only hope to close it out by keeping in line with you and trying to be as great a competitor as you are.
I appreciate it. Who do you got for next week?
This week, Eagles getting off of that losing streak, beating up the Raiders. They go on the road to Washington. I like Eagles -5.5 next week, and I like Carolina +2.5 against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Who do you got?
Who do I have? To me, these are easy ones. The Browns looked terrible against the Bears. Next week, they're going in for stiffer competition with Haley Steinway's husband. I forgot his name. Joe Kelly, maybe. Bills -9
Allen.
over the Browns. Josh Allen wasn't even close. Also, the Jets are worse. I came to the conclusion earlier today. The Jets are worse than the Giants, so they're only
they're
only
so
getting
bad.
3 points. They're only getting 3 points from the New Orleans Saints, who are also terrible. This is the week New Orleans steps up and says, "Hey, we're going to look good." Bills -9, Saints -3. Ron, let me
All
ask
right.
you a question.
Sure.
What are you watching?
I didn't watch a ton this week. I watched a old documentary from 1994 called Children of God. It was about a religious cult. I can't do it justice by talking about it, but it's one of these cults where somebody thinks they're God and
Sure.
manages to convince his followers that he should be able to have sex with them and their children.
Sure. Is that why you
What
started a
about you?
cult? The cult of Ron and Brian?
I did it for the money, all for the money.
Understood. First off, a word of warning. I watched some terrible TV this weekend. Joe Kelly, Jim Kelly, what's the
Jay Kelly,
what
the
was
new
Jay?
George Clooney, Adam Sandler film, completely unnecessary.
Oh my God. Did you watch any of it or no?
I sat there while my wife watched it, and every now and then I'd be like, "Oh, this is bad. This is really
Oh,
really bad."
Variety or Vulture said that this is, George Clooney in his career-defining role, which is, I mean, basically he's playing a over-the-hill actor who is now looking back on his life and realizing the mistakes he's made, trying to figure out whether it's still available for him to fix those mistakes. They do this interesting little bit where he's looking back on his life, and you see other actors playing him in earlier, but he's in the room watching those moments take place. Adam Sandler, in a dramatic role, there's not humor there. Plays his manager who's trying to guide him through his little midlife crisis that Clooney's going through. Just a terrible fucking movie. Also, it should have given it away. 2 hours and 20 minutes on Netflix.
Way too long.
Just way too long. Also, this was a movie that I wanted to see when it came out, but I knew it wasn't going to be good, so I waited. Spinal Tap 2 on HBO Max or whatever it's
I
called.
can't
Go
imagine it
HBO.
was good.
I'm going to say this. There was something pleasant about watching the characters and where are they now. Like I thought that it was there was something nice to be like, okay, this is who those characters became, but it wasn't clever. The original Spinal Tap had several moments, I would say every like 5 or 6 moments there was a laugh. There was some writing. Some the story went to an area. There was a great line. I know that that troupe, that comedy troupe, is well known for their improvisational skills. This one was it just wasn't clever. There were no lines where you chuckle. There were no lines where you're like, "Gosh, that's clever." Basically, the band realizes that they've got a contract where they have to perform one more concert, so they get together in New Orleans for the 40th anniversary reunion show, whatever. Just terrible. Hour and a half. At least they kept it short. And then I also tried watching the I Am Candy
Oh
documentary.
yeah, the John Candy documentary.
I think it's on Amazon. I made it through about 20 minutes of it and just realized that it was not interesting.
Okay.
Love John Candy, just
Sure.
could not get into the documentary. Just did not. You know what it was? It was basically telling his life story, but without making it interesting. His time in Canada, growing up, his childhood. If I had not really enjoyed his stuff, I wanted to hear good stories about him. I wanted to hear people's interactions with him, and instead it was a lot of referential. Yeah, referential. Just being he was always like the star of our acting troupe. Okay, great, but tell me a story. Give me an anecdote.
Well, something we don't know about him.
Yeah, and I felt that was severely. I turned it off after 20 minutes. It was just very disappointing.
One thing, as you mentioned, Jay Kelly, one thing I watched that I forgot was the My Next Guest, David Letterman interview show. There's a new episode up for that with Adam Sandler that he interviewed.
Okay,
that was actually good.
Was it? Okay.
It's very interesting to hear him kind of talk back about his early days and talk about, Farley and Norm and those kind of guys. And he's got a new 3 new episodes coming out. It's he's interviewing Jason Bateman, Mr. Beast, and I want to say Michael B. Jordan.
The basketball player?
Not the basketball player, the actor, Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, okay.
I am interested in seeing the Jason Bateman one. I think that will probably be very interesting.
I will be skipping the Mr. Beast one. Internet celebrities are not my interest. I
also found out this weekend that my wife apparently has quite the crush on Jason Bateman.
You've told me you have a crush on him.
Well, I didn't think we shared that, so that's new information for me.
Are we going to get Jason Bateman? Now, question is this: is her crush like current Jason Bateman? Like older, like younger?
It appears current. Like she apparently
Really?
she commented on how well he's been aging. So it used to be, she was very much into Bradley Cooper, and then it looks like Bradley had some work done recently. And the face is kind of weird now. So she's kind of Jason Bateman. That was, I think I sent you that
the video.
That video of him on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. To see Janelle backing that up right there.
Sure.
Apparently he is someone that as he ages gets kind of like me. As I age, I get better looking.
I think that he had such a career renaissance with Ozark.
Without a doubt.
He was really doing like these secondary, kind of shitty movies where he was just, the male lead, but trying to be funny. And then he went to Ozark and people are just like, oh shit, this guy does drama. This guy can really sell you on anxiety and tension. Ozark was such a great show. So like now, yes.
All right, let's see. Can we get one more story in here, Brian?
Let's sneak in a story here.
We do love some cruise ship stories, and the death of a Royal Caribbean passenger has been ruled a homicide after crew members allegedly served him nearly 36 drinks at the ship's bar before he died. This is Michael Virgil in a shot from YouTube before he's detained upon the ship. He was served 33 drinks on one of the ship's bars on the day he died in custody in December of 2024, according to a wrongful death lawsuit recently filed by his fiancée. He was detained during a drunken rage in which he allegedly attacked and threatened to kill crew members and passengers. But he died within hours after being restrained and taken into custody. according to the lawsuit, with Virgil's family initially alleging they injected him with a sedative, which killed him.
Really? I mean, I
Yes.
had to have been like a horse tranquilizer. He's a big boy.
So apparently, this is interesting. He had boarded
Is that
the
Jason
Mexico-bound.
Kelsey? Is that Jason Kelsey?
It's Jason Kelsey 20 years from now, after he stopped hitting the weight room.
Of course. What were you saying?
So apparently they boarded the cruise. He boarded the cruise with his fiance and their 7-year-old autistic son when they were told that their room wasn't ready. So crew members directed them to the bar where they remained for a period of time. But when the son grew restless, Virgil's fiance took him to check on their room while he remained at the bar. It was during that time he was allegedly served the booze. So while she's checking the room, he served 33 drinks, is what they're claiming.
Well, he might have had doubles, so now take it down to 16
right.
drinks. He probably had a couple with her before they walked away. And knowing her, based on what I've heard of this story, she probably took the kid around multiple areas of the ship, to some stores, to the arcade.
Seems
to
like
the
you know a lot
massage
about
parlor.
this woman, Brian.
I do the research, Ron. I do the work.
So his fiance alleges that when he was detained, the excessive force taken by crew members, including security and medical personnel, led to his fatality, along with administering an injection of a sedative medication, haloperidol, and used multiple cans of pepper spray. They are seeking damages for loss of support, future earnings, medical expenses, along with pain and suffering. Royal Caribbean declined to comment on pending litigation. I can't think of anything I'd rather not do than go on a cruise ship.
Yeah, I've said to the lady, I think she wants to do a cruise. I don't think she's ever done a cruise, like a big cruise boat.
Right.
I've said to her that the only way I will get on a cruise with her is if we do a Mediterranean cruise or a cruise in Asia. I will not do an American cruise from Miami to Bermuda and back. I cannot get on a cruise ship with Americans. I don't want somebody who can handle 33 drinks and still be standing. And require a sedative. I don't. And
it needs to be an adults only cruise as well. I think if anything, I mean, what is amazing to me, and I don't know if you saw this news, is there is now going to be cruises departing from a terminal in Philadelphia as of April 16th. Can you imagine a boat full of Eagles fans who can have 33 drinks before kickoff and still be fine? You could not pay me to go on a ship departing from Philadelphia.
Sure. The real question is just like, will there be a good cheesesteak place on the ship?
Can't be. If it's not in
those
Philly,
people love their hoagies. They love their
the hoagie, the water ice, some scrapple, maybe.
Hell, scrapple.
All right. Well, Brian, this was a fun time. If nothing else, let's get one more story in here before we go, because it is kind of a holiday.
Acknowledge the comment, Ron.
It's a good comment. Yeah, he's asking if the boats will park in the middle of the Delaware. Listen, we're not the only town that people park in the middle of the road, that people just create their own parking laws. It's not just a Philly thing.
Okay, well, Philly is trash.
So real quick, Brian, this is, I guess you could say this would be usually part of our But the Drag Queens Are the Problem. This is a New Jersey man, Hamilton Township, was arrested for charges related to child pornography and endangering the welfare of a child. If that was not bad enough, Brian, he also was known for portraying Santa Claus in the local area. This is Mark Polino, also known as Santa Mark, taken into custody last Friday. He advertises holiday appearances on his website, offering, quote, a little extra Christmas magic for events. He is also a retired elementary school teacher from the Hamilton Township School District. He is accused of filming a child in a bedroom and sending the video to himself or someone else. He was bailed out the other day, and his lawyer said that he will be exonerated when this case goes to trial.
Allegedly.
But even
We'll see how it plays
creepier
out.
when it's someone who has been a Santa Claus. I don't know why that is, but it just seems extra creepy to me.
I agree with you on
All right,
that.
well,
that is
Brian,
very creepy. Yes.
We also agree that people should join our Patreon. If you go
Absolutely
to
join the
cultofronandbrian.com, you click in the upper right-hand corner, you sign up for a subscription. If you do it at the $10 level or higher, you get to join us live after dark, which is going to start in just 20 minutes. It's an extra 30 minutes of the sexy, saucy stories that we're not able to do outside of the paywall. So sign up, and we can get to that link in time for tonight's show. Also, we have sent out the link for filling out your 2026 death pool entries. You've got 17 days left to get that done. If you haven't seen the link, go to our Facebook, go to our Instagram. You will see it there. Andrew H. is currently holding a comfortable 30-point lead as we go into the home stretch of 2025. Can he bring home a fourth win in this Ron and Brian death pool? Just an unbelievable performance. People are talking about Phillip Rivers. I don't think they're talking enough about Andrew H. right now.
He's a legend. He's a legend. He is Hall of Fame. I mean, if we had a Hall of Fame, he would be Hall of Fame.
He would be in it, without a doubt. All right. Anything else, Brian, before we get ready for After Dark?
All good. All good.
All right. Stay warm, people. Stay safe. And we will see you next week.
Thank you for joining us for the latest episode of The Cult of Ron and Brian. A non-tax deductible contribution can be made by subscribing to our Patreon. Visit cultofronandbrian.com and click on Become a Patron. We'll see you again next week.